As you know by now, the last couple of days, we've talked a lot about the life and the legacy of Charlie Kirk, and we've looked at it from several different perspectives. We've discussed the circumstances and the significance of this absolutely horrible and senseless act that took his life. But one of the angles that we have not yet approached is the perspective from Capitol Hill, where Charlie's life and death also had an enormous impact. So joining me now with his perspective is Congressman John McGuire. He represents the 5th Congressional District of Virginia. Congressman McGuire, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thank you for joining us.
Jody, thanks for having me on. I got to tell you, it's been hard to sleep the last couple of nights. I can only imagine what the family's going through. I was on the floor. I was in committee voting when my wife sent me a text that he had been shot, and I was praying that it was fake news and then praying that somehow he survived. But, God called him home. But it's just heartbreaking. I mean, I never saw a person more articulate on our conservative Christian values. And as a freshman congressman, I study his videos all the time. The day before he was shot, I was watching a bunch of his videos. It just helps me better debate and argue on the floor our conservative values. And I was scheduled to be with him at convocation at Liberty University in a couple of weeks. So it just rips your heart out, heartbreaking.
It really does, and I'm aware of that meeting coming up at Liberty. In fact, it was on the day that he was assassinated. That evening, Liberty University had one of the most powerful worship services taking place with the knowledge that he was coming. I just wept through all of this. What has been your not only your personal reaction to his assassination, but that of your colleagues as a whole in Congress? What is the tone that's being felt there?
Well, it's certainly the thing that everybody's talking about. And I got to tell you, he was killed for having a different point of view. And he was assassinated. And we can never forget that. We had a never forget moment with 9/11 that we celebrated this, or we remembered, take it back, we remembered this week. And this is another never forget moment. And I think that it's going to just inspire more people to get his message. And I think we're going to have a million more Charlie Kirks pop up in our country. At least I pray for that. And I don't know if anyone has done that, but if they haven't done it, someone should archive all of his wisdom, because he was 31 years old and he's irreplaceable. And his intelligence and his ability to articulate and win the argument for Christians, for conservatives, is just unmatched. And so I don't know who's going to do that, but I certainly support that effort.
Yeah, there's no question this is a political assassination, but this is much deeper than politics. He was assassinated, as you said, because of his beliefs. He was assassinated because of his Christian stance. It goes further than mere politics, but the ramifications and the rippling effect has been so far-reaching. I'm hearing that at least there are reports of some potential security protocols being re-examined there on Capitol Hill. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, certainly there's a heightened sense of security with elected officials. There's been a pattern. Obviously, we saw 2 assassination attempts on President Trump and some other folks up north. So there's certainly concern for that, and there should be. It just seems like you can't have a different opinion, and it just seems like the left is more prone to violence. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the videos where they talk about get in their face, create a crowd. Biden talked about taking them out back and punching them out. I mean, they just have a lot of rhetoric. In fact, on the floor, you probably saw there was a scuffle. One of the members of Congress said to me, your side needs to tone down your rhetoric. And I probably shouldn't have said it, but I said, you guys need to stop shooting people on our side. And of course, there was a back and forth about prayer. You probably saw that. And same thing happened in the British Parliament. I saw a video today where in the British Parliament, they asked for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, and the leader said, no way. So the conservatives stood up anyway as a show of respect for Charlie Kirk. And of course, the opposing party just made all kinds of noise. So
So what is your message to your colleagues right now? Yeah, we saw the chaos on the floor and asking for a moment of silence and prayer, and that was soundly rejected by some. What is your message to your colleagues and the rest of our country right now?
So my message would be is remember that God is in control and God always gets the last word. But what we have to do is we have to stick together. We have to stay vigilant. Stay vigilant as a country, as lawmakers. If you see something, say something, do something. And together, united we stand, divided we fall. We've got to keep an eye on each other. You know, there are many situations that going back to 9/11 where people saw simple things they didn't report. And had they reported it, it could have prevented that horrible day. Same thing with the folks who saw the shooter for President Trump in Butler. They could have said something and reported it. So if you see something, say something, do something. And I see the young girl who was killed on the subway. It was heartbreaking. She slipped away all by herself, and no one on the train did a thing to help her. And maybe that's because of Daniel Penny. He tried to save some lives, and they tried to ruin his life. But it's good versus evil. It's spiritual warfare. Lots of prayer, and let's keep an eye on each other.
It really is spiritual warfare. That's what it comes down to. All of this from the heart comes all manner of evil. And Congressman John McGuire, Virginia, I want to thank you so much for taking time to share with us what's happening in your life and on Capitol Hill. We greatly appreciate it.